Welcome to the life-changing world of the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. This book is a modern guide to ancient Toltec wisdom, a philosophy that can transform your life. Today we start with part 1, where we explore the foundation of all personal freedom, understanding who we are and how we are conditioned by the world around us. Long ago, there were people called the Toltecs, spiritual warriors of ancient Mexico. They were seekers of truth, deeply connected to nature, and aware of the power of consciousness. Don Miguel Ruiz explains that all humans live in what he calls the dream of the planet. This is not a literal dream, but the belief system, rules, and agreements we make, consciously or unconsciously, with society, family, and culture. From the moment we are born, we start being domesticated. Domestication is similar to training animals. The world teaches us what is good or bad, right or wrong, and we begin to accept these rules as absolute truths, even if they limit our happiness. Domestication begins in childhood. Parents, teachers, friends, and society set rules. Do this, don't do that. Be like everyone else. Don't express yourself too much. We start believing these lessons are the only way to live. This is how we adopt agreements, thought patterns, ideas, and behaviors that shape our life. Ruiz emphasizes that most of these agreements are limiting and often false. For example, I must be perfect to be loved. I am responsible for everyone's happiness. Life is supposed to be difficult. All these are agreements made by others, and we carry them without questioning. Impact of limiting agreements. These limiting agreements create fear, self-doubt, and suffering. When we break them down, we see the world differently. Ruiz calls this process awakening from the dream. Imagine wearing glasses with the wrong prescription your whole life. You see the world, but everything is blurry. That's how limiting agreements affect our perception. Freeing ourselves is like removing those glasses. Suddenly life becomes clearer, lighter, and more joyful. The power of awareness. The first step toward freedom is awareness. Ruiz explains that we must recognize our agreements. What do you believe without questioning? Identify where they come from. Are these your truths or someone else's rules? Decide if they serve you. Do they create happiness, love, and freedom? Being aware is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly you can see obstacles, patterns, and opportunities that were invisible before. The dream of the planet versus the dream of the self. Ruiz distinguishes between two kinds of dreams. The dream of the planet, the collective belief system we inherit. The dream of the self, the personal reality we create once we question old agreements. Most people live entirely in the dream of the planet, never realizing they can rewrite their own agreements. When we understand this, we gain the power to choose our beliefs and stop self-sabotage. We can create a life of love, joy, and freedom instead of one dictated by fear and society's rules. Breaking free, the path to personal freedom. Ruiz teaches that breaking free requires intentional practice and courage. The path includes questioning everything you've been taught, rejecting limiting beliefs that create suffering, committing to new agreements that empower your life. Freedom is not about escaping responsibility. It's about choosing agreements that serve your highest self. Welcome back to the Four Agreements. In part 1, we explored domestication and how society shapes our beliefs. Today we focus on the first agreement, arguably the most important one. Be impeccable with your word. This agreement is a powerful tool for transformation. Words have the power to create or destroy, and learning to use them carefully changes everything, from our personal happiness to our relationships. What does be impeccable with your word mean? Ruiz explains that the word impeccable doesn't mean flawless in everyday speech. Instead, it comes from the Latin word peccatum, meaning sin, and im meaning without. So, being impeccable with your word literally means without sin, or without harming yourself or others with words. In practical terms, it's about speaking with integrity, say only what you mean. Avoiding self-criticism, don't use words to hurt yourself. Avoiding gossip or judgment, don't use words to harm others. Your word is the most powerful tool you have, and it can shape your reality. It creates the world you experience because what you say influences what you believe and how you feel. The power of the word. Ruiz emphasizes that words are magic. They can build trust and love, create harmony and joy, heal emotional wounds, but they can also destroy confidence, spread fear or hatred, keep you trapped in negative beliefs. He says, the word is like a seed. Plant it wisely and it will grow into something beautiful. Speak carelessly and it can grow into pain. Imagine this visually for ASL. Hands planting seeds for positive words and hands crushing or tossing seeds for harmful words. This makes the concept easy to sign and remember. Avoid using words against yourself. The first place we must be impeccable is with our own self-talk. Many of us are our own harshest critics. Common harmful words we use on ourselves include, I am not good enough, I can't do this, I always fail. These statements are limiting agreements we accepted from society or childhood, and they shape our personal reality. ASL tip, sign stop or cut when talking about harmful words, and then gesture plant for positive, empowering words. This creates visual contrast for the viewer. Transforming self-talk. To practice being impeccable with your word internally, notice negative self-talk. Awareness is the first step. Pause before speaking, even to yourself. Stop automatic judgment. Replace harmful words with empowering ones. For example, change I can't to I will try my best. Change I am not enough to I am learning and growing. Ruiz emphasizes that every word you speak to yourself becomes your truth. Being impeccable means speaking positively about yourself, even in silence. Avoid gossip and judgment. The second way to be impeccable is how we speak about others. Ruiz calls gossip poison. It spreads lies, fear, and negativity. Common harmful patterns include criticizing someone behind their back, spreading rumors or unverified information, passing judgment without understanding. Even if it feels small, gossip has consequences. It damages relationships and creates fear or resentment in others. ASL tip, use hands pushing away or breaking chain to show removing gossip and negativity. Make the signing expressive. It helps viewers visualize the energy of words. Speaking with integrity in relationships. Being impeccable with your word improves your connections. Say what you mean clearly. No hidden messages. Avoid lies and manipulation. Always be honest. Use words to uplift, not to harm, encourage, inspire, and support. Ruiz explains that this agreement applies to all communication, not just big situations. Even small comments, jokes, or offhand remarks can create positive or negative energy. The ripple effect of words. Words are not just expressions, they create reality. Imagine dropping a pebble into a calm pond. The ripples move outward, touching everything. Positive words create love, trust, and confidence. Negative words create fear, doubt, and conflict. Being impeccable with your word is like choosing the pebble carefully. You control the energy you release into the world. ASL tip, visualize the ripple effect with both hands spreading outward. This makes the metaphor memorable and clear for viewers. Practical exercises to master this agreement. Ruiz provides practical guidance. Daily self-reflection. Notice every negative word spoken to yourself or others. Pause before speaking. Ask, will this harm or help? Replace harmful words with positive ones. Even small shifts matter. Speak the truth with love, honesty, plus compassion. Impeccable words. Forgive yourself for mistakes. Don't use harsh words to punish yourself. By consistently practicing these habits, you retrain your mind and rewrite old agreements. 7. Key insights from Agreement 1. Words create reality. Your life mirrors the energy of your words. Be kind to yourself. Negative self-talk is damaging. Replace it with encouragement. Speak with integrity. Avoid gossip, lies, and judgment. Energy is contagious. Positive words create positive outcomes. Small, consistent practice. The power of this agreement grows over time. Common misconceptions. Be impeccable doesn't mean perfection. It means conscious use of words. Mistakes happen. Awareness matters more than flawless speech. It doesn't mean avoiding honesty. Speaking truth is essential. Being impeccable means truthful plus kind, not silent. It applies to thoughts as well as speech. Internal dialogue is part of the agreement. What you say to yourself matters just as much. Welcome back to our journey through the 4 agreements. In part 2, we explored the first agreement, be impeccable with your word, learning how words shape our reality and our self-image. Today, we dive into Agreement 2, don't take anything personally, a principle that frees you from emotional suffering caused by others. Mastering this agreement transforms your relationships, your self-esteem, and your peace of mind. What does don't take anything personally mean? Don Miguel Ruiz explains that nothing others do is because of you. What people say or do is a projection of their own reality, beliefs, and experiences. When we take things personally, we believe that someone's words, actions, or opinions define us, and this creates unnecessary suffering. Someone criticizes you, you feel hurt. Someone ignores you, you feel rejected. Someone speaks negatively, you feel attacked. All of these reactions are self-imposed because we internalize others' behavior instead of recognizing it as their own perspective. The illusion of personalization. Ruiz compares taking things personally to wearing a heavy coat of pain that isn't yours. Everyone has their own fears, insecurities, and agreements. When they act or speak from these, it is their reality, not yours. Taking it personally is like absorbing their emotional baggage. Why people attack or judge? People attack or criticize for their own reasons, which have nothing to do with you. Ruiz emphasizes fear. People lash out to protect themselves. Insecurity. People judge to feel superior. Misunderstanding. People project their own beliefs onto others. When you realize that their actions are about them, not you, emotional freedom begins. How taking things personally creates suffering. Taking things personally affects your life in several ways. Emotional reactions: anger, sadness, guilt, or shame. Loss of self-confidence. You start believing the negative opinions of others. Toxic relationships. Misunderstandings escalate when you absorb blame or offense. Self-sabotage. You limit yourself because you assume others' judgments are true. This suffering is completely avoidable if you practice the agreement consistently. Practicing the agreement. Don Miguel Ruiz provides steps to practice this agreement daily. Step 1. Awareness. Notice when you take something personally. Ask yourself, is this about me or about them? Step 2. Detachment. Realize others' words and actions reflect their beliefs and fears. Their reality is not your reality. Step 3. Don't react. Pause before responding emotionally. Respond consciously instead of reacting automatically. Step 4. Protect your energy. Refuse to carry other people's emotions. Maintain your peace regardless of criticism or praise. The freedom in not taking things personally. Once you internalize this agreement, life changes dramatically. You stop seeking validation from others. You no longer live in fear of criticism or rejection. Your confidence and self-esteem rise. Relationships become healthier as misunderstandings decrease. Ruiz explains that when you stop taking things personally, you can observe others' behavior without reacting emotionally, like a spectator watching a play. You see events objectively and maintain your inner peace. Example: handling criticism. Imagine someone criticizes your work. Most people respond with hurt feelings, anger or defensiveness, anxiety about others' opinions. If you follow this agreement, you pause. You recognize the criticism is about their standards or beliefs, not your value. You decide whether the feedback is useful or irrelevant. Your emotional state remains calm and you act wisely. The role of the word. Agreement 2 works closely with Agreement 1. Ruiz emphasizes, be impeccable with your word, especially in your own mind. Don't speak harshly to yourself about what others say. Avoid self-blame and internal criticism. Your inner dialogue shapes your reaction to external events. Combining these agreements strengthens your emotional immunity. How this agreement transforms relationships. You stop reacting defensively to others' opinions. You no longer feel attacked by gossip, negativity, or praise. You see others as reflections of their own agreements, not as threats. You cultivate peace, compassion, and understanding. Practical daily exercises. Morning reflection, set the intention. Today, I will not take anything personally. Pause and breathe. When triggered, take a deep breath before responding. Ask the key question, is this about me or about them? Observe without judgment. Practice neutrality when others speak or act. End of day review. Reflect on moments you almost took personally and how you could respond differently next time. Common misconceptions. It doesn't mean ignoring others. You can still respond to feedback or conflict thoughtfully. It doesn't mean indifference. You care about yourself and others but maintain emotional boundaries. It doesn't excuse abusive behavior. The agreement helps you protect your emotional energy while addressing issues consciously. Welcome back. In part 3, we explored Agreement 2, don't take anything personally, learning how to protect our emotional energy from the projections of others. Today, we focus on Agreement 3, don't make assumptions, a principle that can eliminate confusion, misunderstandings, and unnecessary suffering in all areas of life. What does don't make assumptions mean? Don Miguel Ruiz explains that most of human suffering comes from making assumptions about what others think, feel, or intend. When we assume, we often misinterpret actions, misread intentions, jump to conclusions. Assumptions are mental shortcuts we take to understand the world, but they are often false or incomplete. Example: you see a friend frowning. You assume they are upset with you. You feel hurt or defensive. Conflict escalates. The truth is, their mood may have nothing to do with you. Assumptions distort reality. Why we make assumptions. Ruiz explains that assumptions arise from fear, past experiences, and our domestication. Common reasons include fear of rejection or judgment. We imagine the worst-case scenario. Need for clarity or control. Our mind wants to fill in the blanks. Limited perspective. We see events through our own beliefs and agreements. When we act on assumptions, we create stories in our mind that often don't reflect reality. These stories can cause misunderstandings, conflict, and emotional pain. The consequences of making assumptions. When assumptions go unchecked, they create several problems. Miscommunication. You speak or act based on incomplete information. Emotional suffering. You feel hurt, angry, or anxious about things that may not be true. Conflict in relationships. Misunderstandings lead to arguments and resentment. Self-limiting beliefs. You assume you cannot achieve something without even trying. Ruiz emphasizes that almost all conflict is caused by assumptions. By recognizing this, we can break the cycle and live more peacefully. How to practice this agreement. Step 1. Awareness. Notice when your mind starts creating assumptions. Ask yourself, do I know this to be true, or am I assuming? Step 2. Communicate clearly. Don't assume you understand what someone else thinks or feels. Ask questions and listen carefully. Express yourself clearly to avoid misunderstandings. Step 3. Seek truth. Verify facts before reacting. Clarify intentions instead of jumping to conclusions. Accept that your perception may not match reality. The role of questions. Asking questions is key to breaking assumptions. Ruiz recommends, what exactly do you mean? Can you clarify? Is this really true? This helps prevent mental stories from taking over and creating unnecessary suffering. Assumptions about yourself. Assumptions aren't just about others. They often target yourself. I can't do this. I am not good enough. I will always fail. These are self-imposed limitations, often stemming from old agreements learned in childhood. To practice this agreement internally, notice negative assumptions about yourself. Ask, do I really know this is true? Replace assumptions with facts and positive beliefs. This combines well with Agreement 1. Be impeccable with your word. Use kind, truthful words about yourself instead of assumptions. Assumptions in relationships. Most conflicts in relationships come from assumptions. You assume your partner knows how you feel. You assume someone's actions are meant to hurt you. You assume others think the way you do. Ruiz emphasizes that asking questions and communicating clearly prevents these conflicts. Avoid reading minds. Clarity is power. Practical exercises to avoid assumptions. Daily reflection. Notice situations where you assumed instead of clarifying. Ask questions before reacting. Pause and clarify before taking action. Express your thoughts. Don't expect others to know what you think or feel. Challenge internal assumptions. Examine negative self-beliefs objectively. Observe without judgment. Let facts guide your reactions, not imagined stories. Common misconceptions. Don't assume doesn't mean don't trust. It means verify, clarify, and communicate. It doesn't mean avoiding feelings. Feelings are valid, but assumptions about the cause may be false. It doesn't mean you can predict everything. Life will always be uncertain, but you can avoid unnecessary suffering by reducing assumptions. Welcome back to the final part of our journey through the 4 agreements. So far, we have explored, be impeccable with your word, speak with integrity and kindness. Don't take anything personally, protect your emotional energy. Don't make assumptions, communicate clearly to avoid unnecessary suffering. Now we reach Agreement 4, always do your best, the final agreement. This one is about action and effort, tying all the agreements together into a practical daily way of living. What does always do your best mean? Don Miguel Ruiz explains that doing your best is not about perfection. Your best will vary from moment to moment depending on your energy, circumstances, and health. Doing your best means acting with full effort and attention in every situation, accepting that some days you will do more and some days less. Avoiding self-judgment, regret, and guilt for doing less than ideal. This agreement is the practical application of the first 3 agreements. It allows you to live them consistently without self-criticism or giving up. Doing your best frees you from self-judgment. When you consistently do your best, you stop punishing yourself. You no longer criticize yourself for mistakes. You no longer compare yourself to others unfairly. You stop holding grudges against yourself for past actions. Ruiz emphasizes that guilt and regret come from doing less than your best, or believing you should be perfect. Doing your best eliminates these unnecessary burdens. Example: imagine two people studying for a test. Person A studies a lot but feels guilty and stressed about every small mistake. Person B studies with focus, effort, and presence, accepting that perfection is impossible. Person B experiences less suffering, and even if results aren't perfect, they feel proud and fulfilled. Doing your best in daily life, Ruiz explains that doing your best applies to every action, not just big achievements. Work and career, relationships and communication, self-care and personal growth, hobbies and responsibilities. Even small tasks done with full attention and care count as doing your best. Over time, these actions create a life of integrity, peace, and fulfillment. How it integrates the other agreements. Doing your best makes it easier to live the other 3 agreements consistently. Be impeccable with your word. When you do your best, your words reflect truth and care. Don't take anything personally. Doing your best keeps you confident, reducing emotional triggers. Don't make assumptions. Doing your best includes seeking clarity and communicating honestly. In essence, Agreement 4 is the engine that drives the other 3, the role of effort and presence. Ruiz stresses that doing your best is not about pushing beyond your limits, but about presence and conscious effort. Be present in the moment. Focus on the task at hand. Give your best energy, even in small things. By staying present, you avoid regret and self-blame, and you experience joy in the act itself, not just in outcomes. How doing your best prevents suffering. When you always do your best, you avoid guilt because you know you gave your full effort. You avoid regret because you acted intentionally. You avoid self-judgment because you accept your human limits. This creates a foundation for a free, joyful life where fear, doubt, and negativity lose their grip. Practical exercises for Agreement 4. Daily intention. At the start of the day, remind yourself, I will do my best today. Pause and evaluate. During tasks, check if you are fully engaged. Adjust effort as needed. Reflect at night. Review the day without judgment. Celebrate moments of full effort. Accept limitations. Recognize your best may vary by mood, energy, or circumstances. Consistency over perfection. Focus on steady effort, not flawless results. Common misconceptions. Doing your best perfection. Your best changes daily. Perfection is unrealistic. It's not about effort only. Mindful, conscious effort matters more than sheer quantity of work. It doesn't mean ignoring balance. Self-care and rest are part of doing your best sustainably. Key takeaways from Agreement 4. Your best effort varies, and that's okay. Doing your best reduces guilt, regret, and self-criticism. It integrates all other agreements into daily life. Presence and conscious effort are essential. Consistency, not perfection, leads to freedom and joy. Conclusion: living the 4 agreements. Now that we've explored all 4 agreements, let's summarize their combined power. Be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity, truth, and kindness. Don't take anything personally. Protect your emotional energy from others' projections. Don't make assumptions. Clarify, communicate, and avoid unnecessary suffering. Always do your best. Give conscious effort daily, integrating all agreements into life. Final inspirational message. Applying these agreements is not a one-time event. It's a daily practice. Life will always present challenges, but these principles empower you to navigate them consciously without unnecessary suffering. Remember, words are magic, use them carefully. Protect your emotional space, don't take things personally. Seek clarity, don't assume. Give your full effort, always do your best. By living these agreements, you wake up from the dream of the planet and begin living your own life with freedom, joy, and authenticity.